So I just got home from seeing Coco, the new Disney movie, Pixar movie, whatever. It's great. It had a long. Apparently, some people didn't like the long short of Frozen that starts off the whole movie. That's 20 minutes long, but I didn't mind it. I think it was fun. I think it was good enough. But then the movie itself was just outrageously good. It was just so beautiful and emotional, and you should definitely see it and stuff. And I'm not going to talk about spoilers or anything. I'm just going to talk about the Mexican afterlife. So if you're not familiar with that, I'm going to spoiler that, maybe. So anyways, I always loved going to the cinema, and I went a lot. And at one point, my mom kind of talked me into collecting the tickets of every single time I go to the cinema. And then eventually I'd have a big drawer full of those tickets, and they'd get sticky, and I mean the ink would rub off, and it'd be like real gross to touch. And it's just, I just decided I wasn't gonna do that anymore, and I threw them all out. And it's just, I realized it was something that my mom would do, something crazy that my mom would do, and that she would think that it's something that gives her personality. But to me, that's just clutter. I don't collect clutter whenever I can avoid it. And those things were certainly no prize to be collected. Maybe if I had like glued them into a book or something, maybe they would have not rubbed together until they became all smeared in the ink. But generally, I don't think it's a great idea to have mementos like that, or at least I used to not think it was a great idea. But then more and more, it seems to me that there may be a benefit to having things that remind you of things. I always assumed I wouldn't need it, because just as a young person, you just live day to day, and something new happens, and there's never a point where you're gonna need to remember all the movies you went to or anything. And I just watch one movie after another, and it's not really a big deal. But what if some point I'm gonna forget things? What if? So basically, in Coco, there's the people that die. They go to the land of the dead, and then they live until they die again, and they die again when they get forgotten by all the living people. So basically, there's a society of the dead, and the rich people there are the ones that everyone remembered, and the ones that only have one or two more living relatives that remember them, they're basically the hobos, and they might die at any point when their relatives die and therefore forget them, or just straight up forget them, I guess. And conveniently, the Mexicans celebrate death like they would celebrate life. On the Day of the Dead, they put on their skull masks and makeup, and there's a lot of skulls, and it's like a happy holiday, but it's all about death. It's all about remembering the dead. And well, I guess it's pretty convenient for them that this afterlife in canon of Coco is real, and that they've in fact been feeding their dead ones their love, and that's what sustained them. Certainly is very convenient. And that brings me back to the tickets of the cinema. Of course, I keep throwing them away still, because they're pretty much just worthless paper. But you gotta have memories of your past life, because just the further a moment is away from you, the more likely you are to forget about it. Because all the past moments that you think about, you're probably only gonna think about them very rarely, and at any point you probably only remember like one or two things about your past in particular, and then you remember different ones, but at a point, isn't it? You never remember everything at once, or do you? I don't know. Well, anyways, I guess you don't. No, you probably got some kind of narrative that you remember, but the actual moments, they get forgotten. There's only key moments that we remember, and the most of the time that we spent is just forgotten. Which makes sense, because we have a limited amount of brain space that we have. But what if we get old, and what if we forget everything that we remember? How important would it be to have something to look back on, some kind of picture album or videos of you doing things? I really don't remember my childhood much. I know my mom had a video of me where I built a catapult once, and we've lost that video, and I don't have any record of how there's photos, but there's no video evidence anymore. And I really don't remember like the places of my childhood, and now they look so different. And I've been we were in Germany for a while, and I've never even returned there. I wouldn't even. I don't even know if I'd remember it. Maybe I'd go there and it'd be like a tidal wave of memories would go over me, or maybe it's too far gone already and I won't remember anything. Who could tell? So basically, at some point, maybe I'm gonna move somewhere else, and then I'll forget how it is to live in this little apartment. And my childhood home where I spent the most time, but I haven't been there in like 5 years as well. Is that right? Maybe 4. I don't talk to that side of the family that lives there anymore, because there's a big conflict going on about who's going to inherit what, and it's all very toxic right now. And who knows, they're probably gonna die at some point, and it's never gonna be like it was. So it's amazing how memories are a thing that exists. And then, all that exists is memory. Everything that happened only exists in memory. Evidence and memory. Most of history is hanging by a pretty flimsy thread where only like certain things were found and other things were forgotten. And it's all fine though, because eventually everything's going to be forgotten. Eventually we're going to forget. Eventually we're going to be so scattered. Our atoms are going to be scattered, and nothing's going to remain, and all the people who knew us are going to be dead, and that's the real death that the Mexican afterlife fears when you get forgotten. It's all so much to think about, really. But what if you forget your life? What if you get Alzheimer's and then you don't remember what you've done? Well, I don't know, maybe you remember what you've done this morning. Maybe you don't remember anything. I guess that would be bad too. I guess that'd be worse than any kind of death. Do people who have Alzheimer's become intelligent again when they die and they go to their afterlife? Who could tell? Well, that was a big ramble. It's a very mildly philosophical. I don't know. Tell me what you think. What are your memories and stuff?